Hello everyone, this is Positive Arrow 8 and I thank you for tuning into this video where I will be talking about the abuse that special needs children endure in classrooms. Please watch this video from beginning to end and please refrain from profane language and abbreviations. And with that being said, let's get started. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but in August of this year, there was a story that broke out on the news about a viral video of a Kentucky sheriff deputy who shockingly placed handcuffs around an 8-year-old boy because he was acting out. In an article from CNN, it states that the deputy also handcuffed a 9-year-old girl as well. Keep in mind that both of these children have been diagnosed with hyperactivity disorder. The deputy's attorney claims that his client placed the handcuffs on the children because they were causing harm to themselves and to the people around them. In the viral video, you see that the 8-year-old boy sitting in a chair with handcuffs up to his, practically up to his shoulder, crying and yelling that he's in pain while the deputy tells him that he won't take the handcuffs off until he behaves correctly. The deputy the deputy actually did not take the handcuffs off the children until 15 minutes after, well, not after, later. And now the children and their families are facing emotional distress from the incident. And I'll definitely provide a link down below so you guys can see more information about this story yourselves. When I heard this story and saw the video, I was shocked and angered by what I saw. I mean, how can you just place these children in handcuffs when you know that they have a disability? It's not something that they can easily control. And while this story is upsetting to hear, this is definitely not unheard of. There are many stories of how educators disrespect those with special needs, both verbally and physically. Whenever a special needs person acts out, the first thing that comes to mind for many of these educators is to either have their hands and feet in bondage or to discipline them by laying their hands on them inappropriately. And why do they do this? Because many of them feel like that they can get away with it, and as their defense, they say that it's the only way to treat them when they misbehave, which is absolutely positivity, actually ridiculous. I mean, this type of situation happens over and over and over and over again, and it needs to end now. It's important for people involved in special education to learn how to properly handle those with disabilities. It's required for them to go through the proper training before becoming a special ed teacher and to get certified. And since this situation is happening way too often, there needs to be cameras installed inside of the classrooms to monitor the special ed teachers. Since many special needs children cannot verbally say what's happening in the classrooms, many people side with the special ed teachers and think that they're telling the complete truth, which is not always true. It's no wonder why so many parents are so hesitant on letting their special needs children be in schools with these teachers. Many parents will choose to either homeschool their children themselves or they'll have special ed teachers actually come into their homes to teach the children, which allows the parents to closely monitor them. I mean, many people don't want to believe this, but it's true. Society wants to instill in our heads that when a special needs child acts out, that means that he or she is dangerous to be around, when that's just not true at all. Yes, many people with special needs do go through changes in behavior. There are good days and then there are bad days. But when you think about it, that's true for all of us, right? We all have days when we feel frustrated, angry, sad, and other emotions. As long as we're human, we're going to experience these feelings. We're human. And that's what those with special needs are. Human. And they should be treated as such. I definitely understand how challenging it can be to deal with special needs, a special needs person rather, who is having a bad day. But you have to be patient and understand how and why some special needs people have behavior changes. there are some things that might irritate them more than the average person, which is something a lot of people don't take time to actually consider. I'll actually touch more on that subject in a different video when I get a chance, because I feel that needs to be explained a little bit more. So be on the lookout for that video. I'll have to see when I'll be able to put that up. Anyway, the major thing that I want you to take away from this video is that when any child goes to school or a daycare center, they should feel comfortable in their environment and shouldn't have to worry about faculty mistreating them in any type of way. They should not be fearful of stepping into these places and be comfortable with being who they are. I mean, excuse me. Imagine if this was someone that you know. Would you be okay with them being mistreated? Could you handle seeing their tears of sadness and fear? Would you be confident about sending them to school every single day, knowing that you won't be able to monitor them and knowing that they can't tell you what a faculty member did to them while you weren't there? It's bad enough to be dealing with students who bully others. We can't have educators who are bullies as well. And we cannot continue to just take their word for everything just because a special needs child is not able to verbally express the events that have occurred. It's a very poor excuse. And you know what? I'm just being honest here. For these educators to continuously abuse special needs children who are nonverbal is the move of a coward. Yeah, you heard me correctly, a coward. If these people are bold enough to do this to someone who can't talk, let me ask you this. Why can't they be bold enough to do it to someone who can talk? I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying it's okay to abuse someone who can verbally express how educators are treating them. My point is that those with special needs are oftentimes the victim, because those who abuse them feel superior over them and actually believe that they can get away with it. Special needs people deserve an education just like everybody else. So why should they be deprived of that? Why should they? I mean, it's a good thing that there are people who are willing to record some of the injustice towards those with special needs. But what about all those other scenarios that haven't been recorded? Many people view them as freaks, weirdos, stupid, retards, when they are actually very intelligent. People are just not willing to take the time to see that for themselves. Those of you watching, I ask you to open your hearts. Those with disabilities are not poisonous. They breathe the same way that you do and bleed the same blood that you do. And instead of viewing them as a curse or a punishment, view them as a blessing. We have to stand up against the injustice and get a discussion started. For those of you watching right now, I challenge you to spread the word on your social media sites. Use word of mouth. And you can even dedicate time to writing an article or a blog about it. We cannot continue to stay silent about this. And this is not the only time that you're going to hear me say this. I'm going to continue to remind you to stand up for these people that God smiles upon until I start seeing more action. When you see injustice like the one I mentioned before, don't just walk off and say that it's none of your business. Make it your business. And if you have a smartphone on you, record it so no one can lie about it, okay? And like I mentioned before, it is important for law enforcement and educators to have the proper training to handle those with special needs instead of treating them like animals. Everyone, I am asking you to take a stance against this. Don't just nod your head and agree. I don't want to see any comments on this video saying, "Oh, thank you so much for sharing," or "awesome video, great topic," or any other comment that basically just critiques someone. Take action. Don't just wait for someone else to do it. You have to be brave enough to take that first step. Alright, so just keep that in mind when it comes to the comments, because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for you guys to say how well I did on this video. I'm expressing my own opinion about this, and I want to see how you guys feel about this. And I want you guys to get the word out yourselves, okay? Don't critique me. I'm not looking for critiques. I want action. That's what I want. So that's basically all I really wanted to say. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate it. Please spread the word about this to others on your social media sites or by word of mouth. Also, I'm going to say it again. I know I said it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. If you leave a comment, please refrain from profane language and abbreviations, and please be respectful. God bless you all and have a wonderful week. Bye.